How do you get your shorts viewers over to your main channel? One day I was watching YouTube shorts and before I knew it, I went from the short to the main video. And I wasn't the only one. This strategy that this creator implemented worked so well that this long form video is one of his best performing long form videos on his channel. How the hell did this guy do that? The creator is a guy named Caleb Simpson, and his shorts are all about asking people how much they pay for rent in New York City. In this particular short, he asked a question that hooked the audience right away.
How much do you pay for rent in New York?
I actually don't.
Nobody expects to pay $0 in rent in New York City. So already I was hooked, right? And that's what you might have to do for your own shorts, which is hook people within the first couple seconds with a very interesting question to make them think, what happens next? But that's not how I got onto his main channel. Take a look at the end of this video and see if you can figure out what he did.
What's your favorite part about the van?
Definitely the skylight.
Is it dangerous to live in New York City in a van? What does she do for work? Why does she live in a van? Go to my YouTube channel and watch the full video.
So what do you think? That's a pretty good answer. However, it's a little different from that because the way he was able to do it was that he put questions in the viewers' minds. Questions that were so important to the main point of the video that you had to go to his main channel and watch long form to get the answers. Is it dangerous? What does she do for work? And why is she in a van? And that's what you have to do if you want to get people over to your main channel. How exactly do you do this? How did he know what questions to ask? I understand that. I get that. And I'm getting to that. Because one of the things about the short that you just watched that you really need to understand is that it's an edited down version of his long form video, which means Caleb had to know what his long form video was all about, and he had to know that the purpose of the short was to get viewers to that long form video, which means within his long form, he had to identify the places where he could have a cliffhanger, where his short was going to end. And he had to identify what cliffhanger questions he was going to ask at the end of his short. He had to get all of that outlined. So for you to really implement this strategy, you have to focus on your long form first. It sounds simple, though it can be really hard. The first thing you have to do is you have to figure out what are you doing for your viewer? What value are they going to get out of it? So if you're an educational channel, what is your audience going to learn from this long form video? Or if you're an entertainment channel, you want your audience to have a certain feeling or to be invested in certain characters. The next thing you need to do is you need to create an outline of what this long form video is going to be. Find the points in that video, preferably in the beginning or in the middle, where you could create cliffhanger questions. These are the money questions that Caleb asked at the end of his shorts video that made people want to click. And you should be coming up with multiple points and multiple cliffhanger questions. Examine those questions and determine which ones are holding back the most crucial information of your main video. Okay, let's dig in a little bit more on how to actually do this using Caleb's video as an example. So first of all, you want to name the title. You also want to name the goal of your short. In this case, it's to get viewers to your main channel. We also want to talk about the value. Don't worry about the acronym. So the value in this video is that the audience is going to learn how someone lives in New York City without paying rent, learning the pros and cons of living in a van in New York City, and how to live in a van in New York City. Then you need to describe the story of the long form video, summarize it, everything. So randomly asking a person how much she pays in rent, she says $0. Now, I'm going to highlight some of these portions where there's important information being revealed. And these are the points where we could actually have potential cliffhangers, basically where the short could end. So it could be at the beginning when she says she pays $0 in rent. It could be in the middle when she talks about how she lives in a van. It could be about how she talks about why she lives in a van. Next, I want to take those places that I've identified as potential cliffhangers because they reveal important information in the story, and I want to turn that information into a question. So for example, when she says she pays $0 in rent, I want to know, why does she only pay $0 in rent? Knowing that she doesn't pay any money in rent is important info, so we can take that and make it into a question. Instead of saying she talks about how she lives in a van, we can say, what does the van look like? Or maybe, how does she cook in the van? How does she go to the bathroom? How does she stay safe? What does she do for work? We want to include questions that are answered in the short so we can hold our audience attention. Then we want to include all the questions that were not answered, that you probably know by now. And at this point, these can be the questions that you explicitly say in your short and then also tell your audience where they can get that information. If you're having a problem coming up with these cliffhanger questions, think of it like this. You're explaining what this video is to your mom, and then at some point, you walk away. What kind of questions is she going to be asking herself about the story you were telling? Those could be your cliffhanger questions. And here's the most important and crucial point of this entire video you are watching right now. I have actionable items that you need to do in order to implement this. For your next 3 long form videos, I want you to figure out what is the value that your audience is going to get for each of those videos. Write a summary for each of those videos. Then I want you to examine and figure out where the cliffhanger points could be, in the beginning or in the middle. Then I want you to decide what those cliffhanger questions are. You need to create not just your long form video, but then a short based off of that. And lucky for you, I actually have a worksheet that has this all figured out, so you don't need to create anything. But I have some bad news for you. Even if you get people to go to your main channel and watch your video, they still might click away within the first few seconds. Be sure to check out this video and really up your YouTube game for your hooks and really see your channel grow.